Okay, you guys, so here we are again, and this is part 4 or 5 on the scratch-built car barge. As you can see, the wall and joint compound is on there, and it's dry. This area right here has the prominent line in it, but when we start sanding on it, that line will all but disappear. I've already started sanding on this side. As you can tell, it's smoother. And don't be discouraged if you have to put more putty on there and resand again later, because you will, as you're sanding, you'll get little craters in there and places where daylight may show through. I know I have one on this board somewhere right there. So that will have to be reputtied again. But as you can see, it's actually coming along pretty well. This side's not, where is it? This side's not sanded yet, so it looks rougher than the other side. I haven't sanded the front yet here, but I did the side. What I'm using is 3M 220 grit sandpaper. It's a very fine sandpaper. You don't want anything more coarse than this, because it'll just chew up that wall and joint compound. Wall and joint compound is not made to go on balsa wood and plastic, but it does work, especially if you use the right time of day to do it. Do not leave this out in the sun. Balsa wood, like all other wood, likes to warp. You can see there's the bottom with the bunks in there. But anyway, this is the starting of it. Back here where this ends, I'm going to build a styrene bunkhouse on the back. I'm going to put the styrene like this. I'll then take a Sharpie pen and go up and then arch over and then make a straight line going down again. It'll have to be even, because it'll really show. Boats like these, barges like these, were built all throughout the ages. They're still being built today. But this one is going to be a barge that was perhaps built in the 1950s. So it's going to have a 50s type of architect design to it, but it's going to also be updated like it was updated over the years, converted from whatever it was running, perhaps Perkins diesels to Cummins or Cat diesels, or who knows. But they're definitely going to have upgrades on it, like it was built in the 50s but redesigned later on. I have these two pieces. Well, I have lots of these pieces of balsa wood. They are very, very thin, but very pliable, very strong. And it has these numbers on the back. I'm not sure what kit this was designed for. I'm thinking maybe model airplane, or maybe even a model boat, because of the fact that it can be bent very severely without breaking. It's a very strong piece of strip wood. I could use it for the tops of the railings, or just about anything. I really like this wood. I have a lot of these that I got in an estate sale. But these are definitely going to be used on there. Also, to change the subject on something else, for the layout, I have this old B&N caboose that I picked up at a yard sale. It's an Athearn blue box. It had trucks on it and couplers and all that, but I robbed them. I did rob an end ladder for the Milwaukee Road transfer caboose that I built, so it doesn't have that. but I think I have another one laying around somewhere. Anyway, I wanted to repaint this for Spokane, Portland, and Seattle Railway, which is more of a darker red, like the red on this cap. It looks darker in person than it does on the camera, but it's not a bright red like this one. You can tell the difference when these are up together. See, this is more of a darker red. But anyway, it has the offset oval logo here that says Spokane, Portland, Seattle. But I just didn't have the heart to paint over B&N green because I'm a B&N fan. So I'll be looking for another caboose candidate to mess with. Perhaps I'll buy one that is a road name that I don't care for, so I don't feel bad about painting over it. So I'm going to get back to sanding on this, and I'll cut away and come back and show you the results. Okay, you guys, so I started sanding on the other side. I can't remember if this was... Yeah, this is the rough side I showed you before. There is a slight incline right here on this seam. This seam seems to be fine, except it looks like it might be separating a little bit. I don't know if you can see it. A little bit more sanding is needed. There's some areas that I'm not happy with. But yes, a little bit more sanding is needed. Another thing to remember is that when this thing is covered with paint, a lot of these little imperfections will be covered. Mainly because I'm going to be using a very thick water-based paint, the Apple Barrel Black. The bottom of the boat will be black, the top will be white. Not sure about the little details, what color I'm going to paint those yet. But details aren't as important as the finished product. So now when you're looking at this boat, you'll notice that this peg is slightly longer than this one. That is true. When I was building the boat, I went off an eyeball and I made a couple little mistakes that you might not have noticed, such as these pieces being different lengths. When the boat is painted, detailed on the layout with cars on it, you'll never even notice. As a matter of fact, I doubt many of you noticed during this small series. But anyway, the basics of the barge are done. And the hard part is actually done. I know what you're thinking. Well, the cabin and the loft area, that's going to be pretty hard too. Yeah, it's going to be slightly hard. But it's not going to be impossible. On this side, going to the metal line, I have exactly 4 inches to the middle of the main beam on the back. On this side, I have 3 3/4 inches. So that means I need to come up with a 1/4 inch gapper, which this is more than a quarter. Let's see this post. This is a 1/4 inch wide. So this one will be perfect as a fill-in to put right here. This will be for a special feature. I'm making it up as I go. So the special feature will be perhaps a lifeboat mount. It sounds like a good idea to me. We'll say that the lifeboat will be mounted up in here somewhere off the deck. Sounds like an excellent idea to me. So that will be what that's for. There's my extra 1/4 inch. I will cut this flush. It's pretty rough on the end. This end is, I think, a factory cut in, so it's okay. And I will actually leave it this length. I'm not even sure what the length is, but when this is done, you'll see how it's all going to come out. This is a little over 3 1/4 inches long. But I'm going to shorten it slightly. I don't care about the height yet because really all this is going to be is a lifeboat mount. But I will make it squared to the next setting, which is the no, who cares? I think it's just slightly shorter, but you know, I'm not too worried about it. If you worry about things and when you're building, you're going to make a lot of mistakes. So you might as well just have fun and do what you want to do while you're doing it. You still do need to pay attention to some things, but for the most part, just try to have fun and do it how you want to do it. That is if you're scratch building. If you're a follow the directions type person, that's okay. I'm not making fun of you, I'm not putting you down. That's how everybody starts out. Even some veterans still follow those guidelines, but me, I just want to have fun. I want to do this and see if I can do it to the best of my abilities. If I suck at it, or if I break something with my giant ass hands, which I normally do because this is a very delicate model, I have to be very careful, especially when sanding on this thing, because it's very, very delicate. The wood is, well, it's almost paper thin. This piece of strip wood here is about the indicator of how thick of the balsa wood I'm dealing with. So this is an actual piece cut from the siding that I used, so you can see just how thin it is. It's very pliable. It's very thin balsa wood. Yeah, I just need to be very careful with it. I do have a factory edge on one of these pieces. I believe it's this one. Now, why does that look off? I don't like the way that looks now. So when I come back, I'll show you the rest of the process. Okay, you guys, so I think I got the idea of how I want to do this. I have my trusty Craftsman cordless drill. What I have in it now, I believe it's a 5/16 bit. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's either 11/16 or a 5/16 bit. On both of the wall pieces, I've measured and marked a yellow line. I'm going to put the drill marks at the top side of this yellow line. That'll kind of help keep the windows from, you know, going like that. One window's higher than the next. But I don't want to drill on these yet. I want to practice with this styrene because some styrene can actually chip out and be very ugly when you drill on it. So I'm just going to go ahead and practice on this. Now, stock rulers have these holes in them, which are really nice. The 5/16 bit fits through the small hole, so that's pretty nice. What I'm going to go ahead and do, so you can see it happen, is I'm going to put the ruler on top of the styrene like this. Now I'm going to drill through it and see how it reacts. Just lightly ream the hole. I didn't want to go, in and out too fast with the drill because that's when it will start to chip. As you can see, the hole's pretty uniformed. It's not all chipped out. It looks good. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and put these round porthole windows into here. I'll cut away and come back, and when we're done, the windows will be in here.